Everyone thinks of Galileo's story as a simple tale of science versus religion. It's clean, it's dramatic, and it's mostly wrong. The real story is so much messier and, frankly, funnier. It starts with a friendship. Before he was Pope Urban VIII, Maffeo Barberini was one of Galileo's biggest fans. A fellow intellectual, he admired Galileo's work, they hung out, he even wrote a poem praising Galileo's discoveries. So when Barberini got the top job in 1623, Galileo must have thought he'd won the lottery. His buddy was now the most powerful man in Christendom. Surely this was the perfect time to write a book that gently suggested the entire universe didn't, in fact, revolve around the Earth. What could possibly go wrong? Galileo gets permission to write his book, The Dialogue Concerning the Two Chief World Systems, with one simple rule: present both the Earth-centered and Sun-centered models impartially. A perfectly reasonable request. Galileo proceeds to write a book where the character defending the Church's view is named Simplicio. Yes, simpleton. This character is portrayed as an idiot who gets everything wrong. To add a little spice to this masterclass in diplomacy, Galileo puts some of Pope Urban VIII's very own arguments directly into Simplicio's mouth. He basically called his powerful, supposedly a friend, a bumbling fool in print for all of Europe to see. It's a bold strategy. Let's see if it pays off for him. So, the Pope is furious, not because he hates science, but because he's been publicly humiliated while trying to manage the 30 Years' War, a continent-wide religious bloodbath. Galileo is summoned to Rome for trial. Now, the charge wasn't exactly heresy for thinking the Earth moves. The inquisitors dug up a much more boring, bureaucratic charge, violating a 1616 injunction from Cardinal Bellarmine that forbade him from holding or defending Copernicanism. It was a legal gotcha. They weren't fighting about the cosmos, they were fighting about whether Galileo had violated his parole, essentially. He wasn't tortured, by the way. He was shown the instruments, a standard intimidation tactic, and then confessed. The whole thing was less a theological crusade and more a very serious HR dispute. His sentence? House arrest for life. Sounds grim, right? Well, let's look at the brutal conditions. First, he was lodged in a luxurious 5-room apartment at the Vatican with a servant. Then he was moved to the Archbishop's Palace in Siena, one of the most beautiful cities in Italy. He was treated as an honored guest. Finally, he was imprisoned in his own gorgeous villa near Florence called Il Gioiello, the Jewel. He had his daughters nearby, received visitors, drank the local wine, and wrote his most important physics book, 2 New Sciences. This wasn't a punishment, it was a forced sabbatical with a great view. So, the Great Galileo Conspiracy wasn't really a conspiracy at all. It was a perfect storm of ego, academic jealousy from rival astronomers, and terrible political timing. Galileo was arrogant and needlessly provocative. The Pope was thin-skinned and politically insecure. The whole affair demonstrates a timeless historical lesson. Never underestimate the power of very smart people making very dumb, very human decisions. The universe doesn't revolve around the Earth, and history doesn't revolve around simple heroes and villains. It revolves around complicated people having a bad day. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more historical insights. Thanks for watching, nerds!